The month of May was a big one for us at the Grimdark Gamers channel. Among other big offline events, we recently crossed the 1000 subscriber mark, so thank you to all of you who have liked our content enough to subscribe. We're glad to have you along for the ride. Today's video is going to be a hybrid channel update and hobby log showcase, so with that said, let's see what we got up to in the month of May. In preparation for the Kill Team Morok release, I've started painting up my Fronteras terrain and completed the 8 wall segments and the accompanying corner pieces. A lot of you have been asking whether Jester and I are interested in making some narrative focused content, and the good news is, yes we are. We are primarily narrative gamers at heart, having no interest in what's generally considered meta, so the narrative Kill Team content will be coming soon, sometime after the Morok release. We won't be abandoning our casual match play Kill Team games entirely, but in general, there's going to be a definite channel-wide shift to more narrative content. Most of the models I painted this month have a distinct theme, with these two being older metal zoanthropes that have been waiting for paint for a criminally long time. Zoanthropes are one of those models that have gone through a surprising number of revisions, with these here being the third version of Zoanthropes to be released, and differ from the current model which has a wider head crest, similar to the Xenomorph Queen from Aliens. I went pretty heavy on the Tyranid painting this month and also completed my third and final metal Tyrant Guard model. Jester and I have started trying to get back into the main Warhammer 40,000 game, and the new Tyranid Codex is proving to be a lot of fun and very thematic. I also painted these 2 Biovores and 2 Ripper bases. I will be returning to my Black Legion once the new Codex drops, but it's been good to paint some of these Tyranids that I've had for a long time. Later this summer, I plan on converting my garage space into an area that I can film games in more easily, and once I do that, Jester and I have been umming and ahhing about whether we should expand into Warhammer 40,000 battle reports. If we do, they'll probably be very narrative focused and will occasionally feature house rules where we see fit. Let us know if you're interested in that kind of content, as it will be quite different from the standard match play fare that you tend to find on YouTube. I finally got my Death Leaper painted up as well. I'm a big fan of lictors in general, and they seem particularly good in the new codex. This chap here was still unassembled, so ended up being the first metal model that I've had to build in a long while. It's not all old stuff, however. When the new Tyranid Codex dropped, I also picked up the new Parasite of Mortrex model, which I got around to painting this month. It's not done much yet, admittedly, in the 2 games I've used it in, but I'm sure it'll perform well once I learn how to use it properly. I'm very happy that this model finally got a release, because this chap here has been waiting for a sculpt since his first mention in the 4th edition Codex, where he received rules for the first time, but hasn't actually had a miniature until now. Last of the 40k stuff for this month are the last 3 of Jester's Swooping Hawks that she painted up. Just a still image for these, as I had to quickly take this photo for the video as I'd initially forgotten that she got these finished. She's been very busy with work, so hasn't had much time to paint at all. Getting these models finished was a huge psychological win for her, as it's a burden off her mind because they've been sitting in a half-finished state since around the mid-2000s. Speaking of being busy, now is a good time to mention that we're going to be a little bit quiet for the next couple of months. We're still going to be producing content, but next month we're going to be on vacation for a couple of weeks, and when we return, I'm going to be entering a busy period with my real life career. I live in an area of the United States that has very seasonal weather, and I work as a flight instructor, which, as you might imagine, tends to rely on having decent weather, so I need to get a bit of work in while the going's good. The good news is that as the channel is growing well, Jester and I have big plans to ramp it up towards the end of summer. We plan on getting some guests in for battle reports, producing content for other games with overlapping interests, and hopefully, once I have enough equipment, we'll start making some high production value RPG content. Moving on, my quest to get Cursed City ready for play is almost at an end. I painted up Q-Lathis, one of the player characters representing the traditional elfin archer archetype. This is a great sculpt. It was fun to paint, and more importantly, shows that you can get traditional wood elf types in the Age of Sigmar universe, and that they're not all half-elf, half-tree abominations that the Sylvaneth model range, cool as it is, represents. I also painted up another of the player characters from Cursed City, Yeltsin Darok. This is easily my favourite witch hunter sculpt that Games Workshop has produced, although Derek has equipped himself here for vampire hunting and has an underslung stake launcher attached to his rifle. Great model, and one that can easily be used to represent an Inquisitor of the Ordo Hereticus in Warhammer 40,000 without having to do any conversion work at all. I finished up the month by painting my least favourite of the player character sculpts, Octron Glimscry. It's not a bad model by any means, it's just one I personally find boring as it doesn't really capture my imagination. Unlike the other models, which I each spent at least a couple of days on, I used Octron as a means of practicing speed painting, at least by my definition of it, and I finished him in an evening. There are some highlights I could tidy up for sure, but overall I'm happy with how he looks, and now he's done, I'm actually looking forward to using him in game. So that brings us to this month's tally. We managed to complete 23 models this month, which, while less than other months, isn't too bad. The Frontierist terrain ended up, and continues to take, a bit longer than I would like because of how long it takes me to recess shade everything. This progress, however, is of course offset by the number of models we have bought this month, and in this month of May 2022 we bought exactly 0 models. This means our progress into our backlog is a solid 23 models, which is our best yet. It's early days into this endeavour of ours to catalogue our progress of models painted versus models bought, but I'm starting to gain some insights, which I'll comment on if the trend continues. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and let me know in the comments what projects you've been up to and how your quest to slay the Grey Mountain is going. For this month's community entries, we have a buddy of mine who submitted some of his Ultramarines he's finished, including a helmeted Uriel Ventress and a veteran using third-party parts. He's got a lot more out since, so well done on tackling that backlog, mate. Dougie from last month also finished the models for his daughter's kill team. The picture here is a little small, but I can tell they look great and I hope to see more of them in the future. As for us, we might not be able to paint that much in June, as I alluded to earlier. If we're unable to paint enough for a decent hobby log for June, I'm just going to combine the month with July's hobby log instead. If you want to see photos of our model collection as well as keep up with the day-to-day going-ons around here, then please feel free to check out our Instagram accounts where we upload images of our models as well as the odd behind-the-scenes photo. That's it for now, thank you for watching and we'll see you all in the next video.